order. Justice Fleeman texted me, said he was on his way. He would probably be 5 to 10 minutes late. Let's see, we've got Neil, Betty, and Molly. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of us, so we have a quorum. So I appreciate the rest of you coming to join us today that are not on the committee. Today we have 2 things we're going to look at. When we did away with the 911 coordinator's position, and looking at the salary, I saw it in there, but I did not think about it. Mr. Lindenny also served as a deputy OEM. Approximately $4,000 of his salary was dedicated to that. By state law, we have to have a deputy OEM because Wayne is still in the National Guard. If he were on 2-week drill and we had an emergency in the county, we have to have someone to step in and fill in. Wayne, have you talked to the judge about who you were interested in getting?
Yes, I have, sir. And he was favorable with that individual.
Okay.
And
you want to tell us, fill us in on exactly what you need.
Okay. I would need a deputy coordinator because my cell phone needs to be answerable at any time in case of an emergency from a fire chief, the state emergency management. Someone needs to be available to answer that. And I am out of town fairly regularly for National Guard drill, and I would like to take a vacation at some point.
No. Not an option.
I have 240 hours right now, so I'd like to take that at some point. But, so, we need some, up until David when David was with the county, he could function as my deputy so that if I had to leave town, I could hand the phone off to him, go do my business, come back, and get the phone back from him. Well, since David is no longer with the county, I need someone to be a deputy. And it would be good, since it's an additional duty, that they receive compensation somehow. The person, I've been talking with Steve Crossnow, who is the fire chief for the Dell Volunteer Fire Department. Yeah, everybody knows. Steve is one of those people that everybody knows. So, and he, very sharp guy. He does a lot of stuff with the county already with the radios.
Ham operators.
Correct. So, I think he would be a very good choice for this. He's fully trained up in the incident command system. He knows emergency stuff. And so I would like him to be my deputy, and I've talked with the judge, and he is favorable towards that.
Okay. He had recommended that we look at doing like a stipend for Mr. Crossnow. Basically, you said, and I'm assuming you discussed it with him, $2,500 per year is acceptable. We can pay that however we see fit. Pay it out every 2 weeks, pay it out as a lump sum once a year, and then he's answerable at any time that Wayne is going to be out of town. And I know we'll have to send this over to personnel to create the slot. And
do we not have a slot? I thought he was in that slot.
Okay, John,
David
was, but when we eliminated his slot, that was just a part of his job, and I'm not sure. I need to probably talk to Kelly and see if we took that one out too.
Okay.
And what I'll do, if we did, then we'll recreate it and recommend a recommendation of salary of $2,500 if y'all agree upon that.
Is that what we were paying?
We were paying $4,000 a year to David to be a stand-in.
Did you just drill him down or what?
I asked him what it would take. That was his recommendation. I'm
Okay.
just following that.
Not going to argue with it.
Okay, so,
I'll make a motion.
okay. So we
I'll
move
second
over
it.
Through personnel and make that recommendation. And then from there, it would need to go to finance. And of course, then we'll get with him and figure out how we're gonna pay that out or get with finance.
Well, finance, if we didn't do away with the slot,
There's still 4,000 in
there's
there.
still 4,000 in there and finance won't have to touch it. But if we did away with it, then we'll have to refund it.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion on the table and a second. Do we have any discussion? Does anybody have any questions? Do you understand what we're doing? All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay. Second thing is for Mr. Reynolds also, and correct me if I'm mistaken in this, but basically this, I think the same thing happened with the city. Basically, we had a OSHA sort of visit, and they told us that we needed a safety plan, and part of that safety plan included creating light duty for people that were injured in the line of work, in their job, so that we didn't have as much lost time injuries.
Well, our talk was not from OSHA, it was from AAC.
Okay.
And our insurance rates for workers'
I
comp.
think ours came from Municipal League, and I think they
Yeah.
both got the same place, okay.
So, and we've had a safety plan for years, but nobody's been using it. And so what the one I created was, I took the one we had and tweaked it a little bit and added a little verbiage. And the most important verbiage is on page 6.
I printed mine out, it's 39 pages, folks.
Yeah.
But I've asked him to go over the high points, and you should have gotten a copy of it in your email. All right?
Page 6, line 9 says, whenever possible, the responsible supervisor will place the injured employee on a light duty status. Now, I realize for a lot of departments, it's like, and I'm going to pick on, I don't have anything specific in mind, but as an example, I'm going to use the road department. They've done nothing wrong. I'm just going to use them as an example. Say they have an operator of a dump truck or a road grader, due to a incident, breaks a leg or sprains a leg and is unable to climb up in and out of the vehicle to do his job duty. Well, I think in the past, in that sort of situation, they've been telling the person to stay at home and recover. That is a lost time incident if they don't come in. And the AAC really frowns upon that. However, if they come in and they're in the office and they can review paperwork, review training videos, something, as long as they come into work, it's not counted as a lost time incident. And so the AAC really likes that, and it will positively impact our insurance rates. Fewer lost time incidents, the less we have to pay out for lost time incidents, directly affects our insurance rates.
That's a workman comp, right?
Correct.
So, and a good example would be the sheriff's office, somebody twist an ankle, twist a knee. Instead of sending them home, have them come in, prop their foot up on the desk and make phone calls to people who have outstanding fines, outstanding warrants. You know, do you know that you have this fine? Do you have this warrant? Why don't you come on down to the sheriff's office? I'll cite you into court so we can get this straightened out. Some will do it, some won't. But they have given them a task, and it's no longer work time injury or lost time injury. It can still be a work injury, but it won't be a lost time.
Now, some other things in here were the inspections, and I have check sheets for the inspections. And by regularly checking your workspace and your tools and that sort of thing, you'll reduce your rate of injury. by making sure that your tools are in proper working condition, that hammer handles are not loose. By inspecting those, you'll make sure that they're still good. You'll reduce your rate of injuries.
I think you have a vehicle checklist for people who
Vehicle
drive vehicles.
checklist.
Make sure that the oil's checked, you have the proper tire pressure. You have all the emergency equipment should you break down the side of the road, a fire extinguisher, things of that nature.
Right, correct. And the way this is written is, I'm not gonna be the guy going out and inspecting, say, the sheriff's department or the road department, because I'm not the expert on those areas. The head of the road department or someone in the sheriff's department is the expert on those areas. So what they'll do is, they'll do the inspections, and they will keep a copy of the inspections locally and send them to me, and so when AAC ever says, hey, do you have a copy of these inspections, they have one point person instead of going to all the departments, they have one contact.
So this is more a safety plan for the county. I don't know how many of you got a chance to read it, but basically it says that most accidents can be avoided simply by doing some, what's the word I'm looking for? Pre-inspections, just a little bit of forethought on things that you would normally do. Not all accidents will be avoided, but I think we can help to shave the number of accidents, and that can help us with our workman's comp rates going forward.
And also, you mentioned a good thing, not all incidents can be avoided. Well, there's also a portion in here where you figure out why an incident happened and how for that incident to not happen again, and to implement corrective actions. So.
And the answer for the sheriff's department is not to chase suspects. And that doesn't work, so. I know, I've been through these before, and it's an audit from the AAC.
Correct.
When they start to renew our workman's comp. So we need a resolution, I guess, to take this to the city council or the quorum court so that this can be adopted as policy for the county, and then you will start to distribute this to the department heads and get this into place. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is there anyone got any questions? I'll make this easy, guys. Do I have a motion?
I move that we move this forward, recommend it, move it forward.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll ask once again, any discussion on this? Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? All right. I had planned to have the sheriff and Miss Black here today from, and don't ask me why I can't remember the name of it, but they do our medical out at the jail, and Miss Black was quarantined due to COVID. We think she is quarantined until the 17th, but we don't know how far she'll be behind at that point and when we can get her up here. So we'd like to reschedule the meeting so that they can come in and explain. I'm not going to try to explain it for them. I'm just going to tell you I think that they are already taking corrective measures to help reduce the amount we spent outside that contract. I know what they told me, but I want her to give it to you firsthand. Does anyone else have anything to bring before the committee at this time?
Oh, I do.
Yes, sir.
and it's, again, I'm glad Mr. Reynolds is here. I just haven't had time to come see you personally. It deals with Act 833 money.
Yes, sir.
Act 833 money are some state funds that come from Little Rock and is directed to the local fire departments. And the disbursement of the money, we get a kind of a lump sum that comes into each county, Mississippi County, for instance. And then those, that lump sum is dispersed equitably between the fire departments based on population or
Population and coverage area.
coverage area. That's their fire districts.
Correct, sir.
Based on the size of their fire districts. Been an ongoing program for years and years. It's a great program. It doesn't cost the county anything. And it is directed through Mr. Reynolds' office, and I haven't had time to talk to you, but Mayor Rodney Robertson of Leachville
Yes, sir.
has asked if we would go back and review his fire district coverage for their fire department and check. He just feels like that they're not getting exactly what they should in their Act 833 funds. And he just asked if we'd review it for him.
I will look into that, sir. And the disbursement of that doesn't come through the county, it comes directly from the state, except in except for two departments, two rural departments. But for all the other departments, they get mailed a check directly from the state.
From the state now?
Now, the fire districts are not quite county mandated. They're agreed to by the county, but they're governed locally between for instance, Manila and Leachville.
Mhm.
And so if there needs to be a change there, we need to get those two, first fire chiefs to agree where the new line is or whatever, and then have the mayors agree, and then it can go in front of the county. But yeah, yes, I can look into that.
If you would, and if you need help, I'd be glad to help. But I knew you were the place to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not a problem. So you're gonna work on that, and will give us a report back on that, possibly at our next police and fire committee meeting. Hopefully. Does anyone else have any questions? Yes.
One thing I do want to bring up is tomorrow at the Arkansas Northeastern College Governor's Ballroom, there will be a COVID-19 vaccination clinic. So,
And my understanding is we are going at least through 1B, which
everyone in
includes
1B is eligible, which includes essential government workers.
essential government workers, anyone over 65, anyone over 70, anyone over 65 with underlying health conditions. I read it last night. It's anything that was above 1B is eligible to go to this.
Correct, sir.
You may also go.
They got 300 vaccines.
May
so
also
get
go to
one
Walmart.
early.
They got
Crazy.
what?
I said they only have 300 vaccines from what I've heard, so it's gonna be busy out there tomorrow.
And I'll just put this out there because I was listening to news yesterday, and apparently Johnson & Johnson has combined with Merck, not Moderna, Merck. They're planning to produce 100 million of the one shot, and they're hoping to have those out by the end of next month.
Hold on. Yes, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has started arriving in the state. However, that is being distributed by the state to certain groups, and I think they were, the state allocation was sent to clinics targeting educators and other groups where the state is trying to catch up on certain groups.
I just want everybody to know that is in the works, and hopefully they're gonna be distributing more quickly. Also, the CDC published a mandate, published thing the other day that once everyone in a group is vaccinated, masks will not be required. They're saying that. Of course, that's gonna be a personal preference as far as I'm concerned. If I'm in a large crowd and I'm not sure, I'm still gonna wear one. I'm not wearing one here today because I'm the main one talking. But everybody else is wearing theirs. I don't know that I agree or disagree with the mandate, but I do believe that it does help, so I will still be wearing mine a lot of times when you see me. Does anyone else have any questions?
Well, I don't know if anybody else heard me, but you can also go to Walmart if you want to get your vaccine. You can make an appointment at walmart.com/COVID vaccine, and they'll take care of you real quickly. I got mine yesterday.
Cool.
I'll also tell you, Mike, I'm gonna spread a little bit of what you shared with me. Delta Pharmacy they are basically the
Delta Drug in Manila.
Delta Drug in Manila.
One of the
They're
primary
basically
hubs.
the primary hub for this county. And the state has a grant through which they can get a generator because they have to keep these at a constant temperature. So that's gonna be a pass-through grant from the county to help them get that done. Hopefully
Community block grant.
Yeah, community block grant. So hopefully we'll be seeing that come before finance before too long, and they'll be able to do that. I volunteered at the charitable clinic, so I was eligible with the first groups that went through as a medical personnel. I could not take it because I'd had the convalescent plasma. I have since come out of that 90-day restriction. I've had my first one. A lot of times if you'll call the Gosnell Pharmacy as well, and ask to be put on their waiting list, they may have someone who cancels, and once they crack a vial, they have 6 hours to give all the vaccines. So if they have somebody cancel that morning, they may call you and say, can you be here at 1 o'clock? Can you be here at 2 o'clock? And at that point, they don't want to waste it, so they're not worried about if you're in the proper class or not.
I think Rose Pharmacy does the same thing.
I have heard
Yeah, but I
that.
heard that they had like 2,000 names on their waiting list.
I don't know.
So it's a long, that's what I was told the other
I
day.
know Connie and them have
Before
applied,
long,
their
we
office
already
has
got it
applied for it,
somewhere
but
else.
they haven't heard
I dropped
anything
off.
yet, so.
Yeah, 1,500 was when I called.
But there's a lot of times, if you get on that list, it moves quickly because they may call 20 people who say, oh, I can't make
Yeah.
it, I can't make it. But like when they called for me, they said, can you be here at 2 o'clock this afternoon? I said, not a problem, I'll be there. I sit here at 15 till, so I made sure I was on time.
My
Yeah.
wife got a call on Sunday night about 8 o'clock. I said, can you be at Manila at 9 o'clock in the morning? Yes, we can be at Manila at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I think everybody's doing that. I was at NEA Hospital the other day. They were calling, my appointment was like later in the afternoon, and they had leftover
Yeah.
vaccines, and they were calling people to come in to get them too. So like you said, it is
All right. Anyone else have anything?
They were also doing some at Walgreens and, not Walgreens, Monet. They were also doing some at the pharmacy in Monet.
Yes, I've heard several people say they were going to Monet.
It's not nurse served though, they only have to.
Well, I've had mine for a couple of months.
The name of that one is McFarland.
Yeah.
Farland's Pharmacy.
Yes. Yeah. And I've had.
You need yours before you travel.
I got my first one.
Good.
I got the second one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Any
I
other
did.
business to be brought before the committee? If not, we'll stand adjourned.
All right.